It's time for Let's Get Real with your host from Bob Richards and Associates, Bob Richards.
Well, hello, Mr. Bob Richards.
Hello, Michael.
How are you doing today?
Great to be alive, yes.
How's your blood pressure?
Very high during this time of the day. Quite honestly.
And we're not even going to talk about interest rates.
No.
Oh,
that would give me a stroke.
We're not going to do that. But I'm glad we're going to pick up part 2 of our last podcast, which was about what do we do if someone steals our property and they show up at our door with a deed and say, "Oh, I now own your house. Get out." So, part 2, one of the things I'm curious about is how can I protect my property? We talked a little bit about title insurance, but
we did.
If I have title insurance, is that going to do it for me?
Not necessarily. There are some processes through the title policy, depending upon what kind of policy that was written. You have a lender's policy, you have an owner's policy. In these fraudulent situations, there is no debt. These are free and clear properties because otherwise, that lender or whoever did the loan, they would have to be paid off first, and then the fraudulent person gets paid after that. There's too many bells and whistles in that process for the lender to say, "Hey, that doesn't look like the correct signature or the initials," or "We didn't even get a call," or anyway. So it's on free and clear properties, land, commercial, regular homes, that kind of thing. So I didn't mention that in part 1, but wanted to mention that to you and to the listeners.
That's good to know.
Part 2.
So the trick is to never pay off your home. Always leave $100 on there.
And kind of. It'll certainly shrink the possibility of losing it. That's true. But I did jot down a couple of other things I wanted to share with folks. And again, folks, let's get real with what we've got going on here. How can you protect your property? Well, Michael brought up title insurance. Another one is just simple monitoring of your property. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to sit on your 10 acres and say, "Oh, look at this land," and stay there. That's not monitoring the property. We have to deal on the legal end of things with the Washington County or whatever county treasurer's office and the recorder's office in doing all of this. Use a secure mailing address. May not be a P.O. box. It may be your actual home address. I would tell you to talk to legal counsel, which might be giving you the right which one to use, P.O. box or regular street address. The other thing I wrote down here, use a reputable title company or escrow company or attorney meaning the attorneys specialize in real estate law. Don't use a divorce attorney to deal with this matter. They're great, but it's a specialty that you want to make sure that you're dealing with a title rep or attorney firm that is specializing in real estate law. The next one that I jotted down, Michael, was record retention and checkups. Now, that sounds kind of weird. Checkups, is that okay for my teeth? Is that for my heart? Is
retention?
Am I retaining water?
Yeah, what is that?
Which one are you talking about here?
What is that? Yeah.
So what I put down here is that as a property owner, occasionally pay for a title report. And just see if there's anything that's on there that you're just like, that doesn't look right. That doesn't look familiar. That's not a loan that I took out on my property that I used as a second lien or home equity line. That's not me. And so there's some red flags that just like, oh, ding, 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 we've got to have a problem, or we've got a problem here, Houston. We've got to get this taken care of.
Wait a minute. I have a question.
Yeah.
So rather than have to go through the whole get a new title report thing, couldn't I just order a property profile from the title company? And aren't those free?
Yes, they are. Yes, you can. But as in the scenario that I mentioned in part 1, doesn't mean that is the actual owner. It could have the same name as who the title property, and the fraudulent person could have same name, same, similar, I should say, or same. Okay. And so that doesn't always protect you. I've also had situations on the public records, it shows that it is of 2 individuals or an individual, and really it's in a trust. But on the property profile, it doesn't show that. So people go like, oh my gosh, this is supposed to be in a trust. My attorney didn't do it right. Oh, he did. It's just that the property profile is limited in what they're giving you from the recorder's office. You really need the full thing. Now, I can provide that as a realtor and as our fans and people that are watching and listening today. That's something I can provide you with the whole nut of the property profile and not just a few pages that you just say, oh, okay, that's good enough for me. No, you really need to peel back the onion. I'm able to do that for you.
That's good. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. A couple other things.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Watch for mail or billing changes. I mentioned this with the if your loan sold from company A to company B, how that all needs to work out, and the notification needs to happen. Again, if you haven't listened to that, listen to part 1. I'll tell you a bit more about that. Let's see here. Another thing is consider. Hi, it's Friday. Consider deed theft prevention services. Again, you see these on TV, social media, etc. For the majority part, they're legit, and it sounds like, well, how can somebody oversee my property when there's millions and millions and millions of properties in the United States? How can they whittle it down to say, hey, your property in Leeds is having issues? Well, they have some protection vehicles there within their companies to be able to do that. But again, folks, this is kind of a after the thought things that these companies get into. They're not watching your property and saying, oh, hey, looks like there's somebody kicking dirt over there. I wonder if it's the owner. No, they're doing it kind of a post, this has happened. Sorry, maybe we can provide you some help to get it back. But we have to do, as property owners, we have to pick up the ball. We're the ones that are holding it. We're the ones that are the owners of. We have the responsibility of that. So it does fall on our shoulders, really, ultimately. Last thing that I put here, Michael, and I'm sure there's others, but keep in contact with the county recorder's office and the county treasurer's office. They're your key local representatives and authorities to say, if you called in, saying, hey, recorder's office, I've got this property at this address, or this is the tax ID number. Would you please share with me the owner that you have vested there? Well, it's actually Mr. Bob Richards. Well, thank you, treasurer's office and recorder's office. I can now go on with my day. Now, you don't want to call them and bombard them daily and weekly and monthly, but you should check in every once in a while just to make sure that you're not has been where it's too late and you're just absolutely stuck with no legal recourse because you took too long, didn't realize, or just were ignorant of it and just said, oh no, that doesn't apply to me. They're just spoofing. No, they're not spoofing. There's legit things here that certainly can protect a lot of money and your assets as well.
So I have a couple other questions. Yeah. I hope it's okay.
Please bring it on.
I'm sure other people have these questions. You have this question. Okay.
Yes,
so do they have online notary services? And if they do, should I require an in-person notary?
Great question, Michael. And absolutely, ding, ding, 10 out of 10. Yes, because a mobile notary is maybe you, maybe me, and we're not notaries. And they think that they're working with some Joe Schmo professional with ABC Notary Services. We do mobile notaries. We do online mobile notaries. Let us help you with this. And so the ones that are not doing live notaries don't respond. Because if you do, they'll try and catch you and say, well, if you just give us those last fours of those social security number, we'll just verify that that's not right. And then we'll get back with you in just a couple of minutes. They hang up on you, and now they've got a lot of information on you.
Oh, yeah. I'll get that right to you right now.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Let me talk to my supervisors.
Click business.
Yeah.
Okay. So another question. So I understand that the title insurance isn't going to be much help if your property's paid off. It's not going to work.
Right.
But are there services that have like a deed theft prevention service that I can subscribe to or purchase? How does that work?
Yeah, right now the basic answer, Michael, is one of these companies that are on social media or the TV. There's nothing that I have a favorite of, or if I do an iPhone or a Google phone, they're phones, and so everybody kind of has their own personal preference. I would just say shop and look to see what they are giving you or offering you for said fee. If they're not doing things on a consistent basis, meaning that you're not hearing from them every few months, twice a year, something like that, get rid of them, because this is something that you really want to have on board with your portfolio so that your real estate part of your portfolio is protected. And so that's one of the things I wanted to share with you. Let me look at my note here and see if I can share this. There is the ability to file a identity theft report with the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC. So that is another option that you can go to. You can contact your mortgage servicer and just say, hey, has there been something going on with my property here? Again, typically they're going to say, well, no, because you don't have anything on it. Why are you calling us? And then you absolutely need to call the local police department of where your property is and notify them so that they can go up the ladder of their systems in searching for the offender. Talk to a real estate attorney that we talked about before, and then notify the tax office at the county and the HOA and just say, hey, there's something fishy going on around here. And we've encouraged HOAs to say, if you're seeing something that comes into you and it says because that owner is with your HOA, there's issues, the HOAs need to be reaching out to the owners and saying, hey, we're getting something going on here. Is this really you, or is it something that is not realistic or not real? And enough times it's just being, what do you call it? Total awareness. You just got to can't throw it in the corner and say that never happens to me. That doesn't happen in St. George. That never happened in our property. Oh, that's just a myth. That's just something to scare us. Why some other companies saying, well, yeah, we got to do this. I wanted to mention to you, it kind of answers your question a little bit more, Michael, and just say for what signs that you might be a victim. You receive a demand for payment. That demand for payment could be in the form of a mortgage statement, a tax bill, some sort of a property that you own that just seems wrong. Maybe you've got these tax notices over the years of paying property tax, and this time the form's just a little bit different. In Washington County, they're green is your preliminary notice, and then they have black as your final notice as far as the ink. Well, as you know, Photoshop, AI, a bunch of other things, you can make something look exactly like a correct form and make it incorrect, but that people don't know the difference. And then also, I feel it really important for people to understand that there are sources out there to help you. As I mentioned to you before, there are ways as a realtor that I can help you that real estate agents can't. There's a difference, folks, between a real estate agent and a realtor. Call me and let's talk. I would be glad to help you. How much does it cost? Zero, nada, zilch. I'm glad to help this for people because it's part of my career for 30 plus years. And more I can help people, the more that I feel comfortable in the career that I've chosen for 3+ decades. So it's not, oh, we don't want to burden you, Bob. Yeah, burden me. We know you're busy. Yeah, I'm busy, but call me. Let's talk. I will absolutely not say no to anybody. I want them to make sure that they're protected and their children and grandchildren, the legacy that they're leaving behind is all intact and doesn't go away due to somebody that is out for a quick buck, quick sale, and just plumb dishonest and doing things illegally.
Well, Bob, now it's time for us to go back to what you were talking about earlier about who should notify, like the police department and so on and so forth. So now it's time to play everyone's favorite game.
Oh.
This is called Stump the Realtor. Okay.
Sounds great.
All right. So in our last podcast, you mentioned that one of the parties was in Montana. The other party was in Utah. So since we've crossed state lines, does that now become a federal crime? And can we also contact the FBI to get involved in this?
Wow.
How's that?
Wow. How do I answer that, folks? I've actually got the answer. It was actually 3 states. So you had Montana, was the gal that I was talking to.
Yeah.
Idaho was the real owners, and then you got Utah.
Okay.
3 crosses state lines.
Yes.
Yes, the FBI can be involved. When I talked to the Hurricane Police Department officer, he says, I will run this up the ladder with my superiors. And I said, great. He says, superiors meaning the FBI. It doesn't mean the guy that is my sergeant. It's with the FBI. And I said, that's great. And he says, you'll see some results take place. You may never see it in the paper. I won't call you and let you know. But you know what? Things happen. And we're glad to pick up those pieces and say, you are with 2 felonies, 1 federal, 1 state.
You see, you can't stump the real. You can't stump
Keep going.
Bob.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
You can't stump. I'm going to save the next one for our next podcast.
All right.
If you guys have any questions you'd like to play Stump the Realtor,
There you
send
go.
them on in.
Bring them in.
You know, Bob's email, bob@buyutah.com.
That's right.
We'll see if we can stump the Realtor.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I understand, Bob, you got another really cool
You know
listing
what?
to share with us.
I absolutely do. I love this listing.
Let's tell us about this thing.
Yeah, so this is 5 bedrooms, 3 baths. It's in Ivans. It's a tri-level, as you can see. The way it looks, you have 2 bedrooms on the lower level, 3 bedrooms on the upper level. Your main area is a great room, family room, kitchen, dining area, and then the lower level has the family room, the 2 bedrooms, and another bathroom, and laundry room. The 3 bedrooms upstairs have two bathrooms. Now, the thing, one of many things about this, and let's go on into the home, is that you don't find a 5-bedroom home at this type of age of home in the low 5s. It just really don't exist. There's where you got to replace the roof. There's damage. There's issues. There's mold. There's problems. There's et cetera, et cetera. That's what you'll find typically with a 5-bedroom in the low 5s. But otherwise, we've got this really aggressively priced because you don't have to do anything, and you still get the low price for it. So here's the great room. This flooring is a porcelain tile with a wood finish. It's not hardwood. It's not LVP. It's the actual floor tile and not laminate plank or vinyl.
Those are beautiful.
They really are. We repainted and did some accent painting on the main floor. We repainted the upstairs, repainted the lower level, and let's go on to the next photo here. And the owners remodeled the kitchen. So you've got beautiful cabinets, nice backsplash, granite countertops, stainless appliances, lots of room, pantry that's there to the right of the photo, and again, door access to the outside for your barbecuing purposes and needs and hamburgers and steaks and anyway. Let's go on to the next photo because that one made me hungry. Again, gas appliances, just this is what you would call, Michael, for a family, a move-in ready opportunity, where they're not having to say, oh, we got to take out this old built-in 1970s vanilla yellow, you know what I mean. Let's go on. This is the master bedroom. So this is one of the bedrooms upstairs, has its own private bathroom, and very generous in size. And so you've had different ways that you could furnish this room with a bed on this wall or a bed on the opposite wall that you see kind of in the distance there. And then the next area, this is the lower family room. Now, the sellers just replaced, this is LVP vinyl, which looks pretty darn close to the main level, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
They matched it up really, really well. And this has just been put in 4 weeks ago. Again, the lower level's all been repainted. So this is all
like
brand new.
Is it like a basement?
It's like, so about 6 steps down from the main level into that lower portion, but it still has the windows so you're able to see outside. You don't feel like you're in a dungeon. I grew up in a dungeon where we called it a daylight basement. There was no daylight in there.
No.
You had these window wells, and you're just kind of, you didn't know when it was light. You didn't know when it was dark.
Yeah, that's nice. I could turn that into a music room or a
You
recording
absolutely could.
studio.
You absolutely could.
That's
Next
nice.
photo. So very nice yard. It's fully fenced, full block wall. That's an expensive wall, folks. I won't even tell you how much that is, but that is tens and tens tens of thousands of dollars. So this is about $30,000 or more in fencing. Nice shade trees in the back, covered patio that you've got there. Really well taken care of. It's kind of in that change of time, so it's not this gorgeous, lush, full green on landscape, but it does look really, really impressive, especially when you're there in person.
That's nice.
And let's see if we got one other. Well, we don't. But I will tell you this, Michael. Stucco exterior, tile roof, no HOA.
Ooh.
No HOA dues.
That's good.
Ivan City Services, so they take care of water, sewer, garbage, power through Rocky Mountain, natural gas is through, I guess they call it Enbridge now. It used to be Dominion, used to be Mountain Fuel, it used to be a lot of other things. But 2-car garage, this is, like I say, folks, a move-in ready home. We've got it priced at $519,850, and would love to get an opportunity to show you through this home. It may be a winner for you guys, maybe something that you finally found that just wasn't quite right elsewhere. You felt like, oh, it's settle. This is a home that you don't have to settle. This is something you're going to say, hey, this is exactly what checks our boxes to make this purchase.
It's a beautiful home.
Yeah,
Beautiful home.
thank you.
Yeah, before we head on down the road, what I'd like to do, just help me out here.
Okay.
I just want to review a couple things.
Sure.
Just to make sure that I'm not going to get hosed over
Yep.
by some guys trying to steal my property. So if you could just review, what are some immediate steps that I could take if I suspect that there's fraud going on?
Sure. Call the county recorder's office immediately, more so than the treasurer's office. Treasurer's office are taking your taxes. They're taking your tax money. The recorder's office is what's transferring ownership by quit claim deed, warranty deed, general deed, or can't remember the fourth one, but mostly the deeds that may change in ownership. Check and find out if there's been a notice of default that's been filed on your property. Now, you can also call a title company and ask for the same thing. If you want a full property profile report, you call Bob. I'll take care of that, no charge, nothing like that. It's more detailed, it's more complete, and it'll help you sleep a lot easier than just calling somebody. So you have some documentation in hand that will be a big help. Notify and see if you do have a loan, and maybe this is what's going on. It's rare because these are free and clear properties, folks. So if you have a loan, you're probably not going to have this ever happen to you, but never say never. And they also need to just be aware of what's occurring that maybe I've heard through the wind in my subdivision or on the lot that I have or the acreage that I own or the free and clear property that I have. Just be aware, keep your ear to the ground, and then maybe look at one of these companies and see what they have to offer, how often they let you know of potential issues, how often they actually check it, and not just, well, this looks fine today, Mr. Richards. You need to have that deep dive into making sure that the property has not transferred out of your name. Be super cautious and super careful. It's so well worth it, obviously.
Well, Bob, you have just been a wealth of information today. Thank you so much. So before we go, if somebody has any questions, how can they call you and get a hold of you?
Sure. I'm affiliated with Berkshire Hathaway Real Estate in St. George. We're just in Ancestor Square, downtown St. George Boulevard in Maine. My email address is bob@buyutah.com. That's B-U-Y, not B-Y-U, BUYUTAH.com. Toll free, 1-800-BUY-UTAH. That kind of sounds familiar. And guess what? Yes, buyutah.com is my website. If you want to contact me on my cell phone, easily done, 435-703-UTAH. And so that's 435-703-8824. If you're having a tough time remembering any of those, well, maybe do a memory check with one of your doctors, because I've made it very easy for you to reach out to me. And please do, even if we're not shaking hands, even though we may not have had the chance to do business, maybe we will in the future, let's talk. Let me help you through this so you're not caught up on something that was too late. That if you'd taken advantage or taken the opportunity and you didn't call me, you'd face the consequences.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I really like to call you on your cell phone, especially when you're in Cabo, because you never know. You might be hanging out with Sammy. We'll have a nice, cool conversation.
Yes.
So you guys be sure and call Bob.
Absolutely.
Especially when it's in Cabo.
That's right.
You may get a surprise guest.
Absolutely.
On the call.
Yeah, I might put you the phone and say, here, by the way, folks, here's Sammy.
Sammy.
Yeah. Here's my bud, Bob.
And I want to remind everybody that you can catch all of Bob's podcasts, his Let's Get Real podcasts. They're on YouTube and on all the major podcast stations, and on his website at buyutah.com.
That's right.
You can catch some of the archives, the one that you've missed, and get all caught up. And Bob, thank you so much. It's been a delightful show today.
Thank you, Michael.
We'll see you guys again next time with another exciting adventure with Bob Richards, and Let's Get Real.
This has been Let's Get Real with Bob Richards from Bob Richards & Associates. For more information, buyutah.com. We invite you to return again for another edition of Let's Get Real with Bob Richards from Bob Richards & Associates.